This camera needs no introduction. In fact, at this point, I think I could call this the undisputed king of micro four thirds cameras. This is the Panasonic GH6. No matter what you think about its autofocus, its low light, or the fact that it's not full frame, at the end of the day, it is the micro four thirds champion. I've seen some reviews about this camera where people are excited, and I've seen some reviews where people are just disappointed. Or in the case of Gerald Undone, it's not full frame and it's just not exciting to them. And all of that is fair. But for some of us, this camera's very existence means this is the perfect time to buy a used GH5. Hey guys, Nathan Brendan Masters, and if you've been with me for a while, you know the Panasonic G7 was one of my favorite cameras. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say it was the favorite, particularly for the fact that I can control it with the app. And if you saw Transit, you know I even worked it into the film. Most of the times when you saw my character on his cell phone, I was actually operating the camera. And if you remember, when it came to shooting things at night, I was a Sony guy. Even in this film, we shot some of the night scenes with the Sony NEX F3. Supposedly, the Panasonic and micro four thirds cameras in general just weren't good with low light. But I absolutely fell in love with the look of these cameras at night. This time I had the G7 in the LX100. Of course, with the G7 being the A cam, which some people were using as a B cam for the GH5. Now, this is the scene that did it. This is the scene that sealed the deal for me as far as the look of Panasonic cameras at night, but it also made me want the IBIS that was found in the G85 and other higher end cameras that came out after the G7. If you notice, I do a lot of handheld shooting, and my plan was actually to get the G85. But if you guys remember, at some point autofocus became this big deal to me, and I just wanted to get this great autofocus that Sony had. You know, I bought a bunch of Sony cameras. I turned everything, everything went Sony for a while. Of course, I had the NEX 5R, and I had the A6300, and, I had Sony cameras. And it just didn't work out. I didn't get to do the vlogging that I wanted to do that year. Obviously, this is in between 2019 and 2020, so you know how that went. But things just didn't work out. I ended up selling all those cameras, and I also had to take another look at how I was doing things. The money is simply not in YouTube like it used to be, at least not for me. So I'm going to have to start thinking about other things aside from which camera is best for YouTube, and maybe start thinking which camera is best for client work and I could use it for YouTube. My main YouTube cameras, of course, are my Sony NEX 5R and my DJI Osmo Action Mark I. I bought a Canon XE10 for documentaries and corporate shoots, and I also came across a great deal on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, something I've wanted for a long time. It was around Christmas and the deal was good, so I got it, and I played around a little bit in the 10-bit 422 color space and decided that I wanted to start working with higher quality footage. So what was in my price range that did 4K in a 10-bit 422 color space, but I also wanted something with IBIS? I considered the G95, even though I know that's only 8-bit, and I also considered the G9. But people started talking about the GH6, and there was already a GH5 Mark II. So I started thinking, let me go on eBay and check out some of these prices. But what I did was wait until I started seeing review videos. And sure enough, jumped on eBay, and man, there's one for $750. It's absolutely bananas right now. If you want a GH5, this is the time. And I'm sure as time goes on, they're going to go lower and lower. With everything the GH6, heck, even the GH5 Mark II, with everything those cameras have to offer, particularly the GH6, it's easy to jump on those bandwagons and just want that new thing. But you got to start thinking about your ROI and what you're going to be able to do with these cameras and what's the biggest bang for the buck. I got the 4K in 10-bit 422, Cinema 4K at that. I can use SD cards that I already have, and I got my IBIS. So I got the things that I wanted, plus a camera I can use professionally outside of YouTube. Now, I'm not counting out the GH6, but I'm definitely saying it has to make sense for me to get it. And if it does, I will. But for now, the GH5 has what I need, what I want, and much more. So, yeah, I ended up with a GH5. This is just a little rig I made. I didn't want to get like one of the, full rigs and everything. This is just something I threw together with an L bracket and a small rig cold shoe. And this was the top handle that I had for my XC10. So I just threw this together real quick. This has the Arcus Swiss design under here. I can just put this on my tripod, tighten it up, boom, take it up when I'm done. And yeah, this is nice. And if I don't want this on here, I just unscrew it from the bottom and it just disconnects. It's that simple. And this is definitely one of the nicer cameras that I've had. The way it feels in the hand, just the design overall, the weight of it and everything. It's a really nice camera. If you ever wanted a GH5, I think now is indeed the time to get it. I'm pretty sure in a few months, though, it'll probably be a little bit cheaper. But if you get some good deals on eBay, you might want to snap them up because you never know. There's been times I've seen great deals on stuff. I looked at the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. I was seeing those for like $400, $500. They were cheaper, but when I actually bought mine, I paid a little bit over $500 for it, and they were going for $500, $600, $700 because they were getting big again, and people were looking at them saying, "Hey, you can get this and get this raw video." So right now, I think the original Canon M camera, people have hacked that and they got that thing doing raw video and all kinds of stuff. So people are, you're going to see the value of those cameras go up. So if you see a good deal on one of these, jump on it because people are buying the GH6 and they're selling their GH5s, GH5Ss and things like. I don't know if they're going to sell their GH5Ss. People who bought GH5S had some very specific needs, but the GH5 and probably even the GH5 Mark IIs are probably going to come down in value so people can get their GH6s. So other than that, guys, you take it easy. Nathyn Brendan Masters. Hasta.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through the eyes of a brand new life. It's so